Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palettes. I am Aaron Loomis coming to you from the Drew Estate Studio. With me today is Seth Geis, and from the Pastania Studio, John McTavish. How you guys doing?
I'm doing well.
Doing well, man. Calgary Stampede is in full effect. I will not be attending because I don't like the Calgary Stampede. I've been many times. It's the greatest outdoor show on earth, the largest rodeo in the world, and people are going to die because of the heat.
So, is it kind of like a county fair kind of setup?
Yeah, I mean, if you imagine the largest county fair in the world,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think there's like 200, like a quarter million people through the gates a day or something like that.
Dang.
Yeah, and then it's, I mean, you could really call it the Olympics of rodeo because there's people that kind of come from all over the world. So there's multiple different rodeo events starting in the morning and going all day and then going into the evening. And then obviously there's a huge carnival with all the sort of carnival type rides. Where you lose me though, not to get too off topic before we even get started here, but where you lose me is that, you look at Disney and Disney is pretty expensive for what it is. And one of the things that I remember distinctly from Disney Orlando was the turkey legs, which, very
Yeah.
tasty, but I think it's like $18 or something US or something like just, and you're like, whatever. I mean, gonna go broke.
Yeah.
They're selling the turkey legs this year at the Calgary Stampede. They're $30.
Yeah.
$30.
Yeah.
Like, good Lord. You can
Big
buy
deal.
a turkey and a half for $30. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Anyway, Stampede.
Yeah. I mean, there completely has been a shift, like, because used to be like the fair used to be like pretty cheap
Affordable.
food
Yeah.
stuff and like that, right?
Get a
So
corn dog for $2 or whatever.
now it's like you're going to a NFL game
Yeah.
and
Yes. That's
like
exactly what
they're
it's
just
like.
gouging because you're there and you can't
$15
go
hot
anywhere else to
dogs
get
and
it. So
yeah. Yeah. Well, they won't let you take in water and they won't let you take in food. And
yep, exactly.
yeah.
All right, completely off topic, but let's get it back on topic.
All right.
All right, so today we are talking about the Leaf Connecticut 50. Cigars Robusto 5x50. Comes out of an undisclosed factory in the Dominican Republic. Wrappers Ecuadorian Connecticut. Binders from the Dominican Republic. And the filler is from the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. Price point is $10. Cigars released in February of 2024. So with all that out of the way, Seth, what was your overall experience like with this cigar?
I hate undisclosed factories. That's just
Tell me the truth. Where did it
Tell
come
me.
from? You must
let
tell
me know.
me.
Let me know about it. It's you look at the cigar and you're like, man, this is just
It's not just a
a-
wrapper.
I
It's not
know.
just a
It's just
wrapper.
like, hey, it's a nice looking Connecticut. This is probably gonna go the direction, I expect it's probably gonna go. Nothing, aromas of cedar, hay, tobacco. And the first third begins with just some cream, cedar, hay. There's some earth. There's a little bit of tobacco, medium strength and body. Second third's really in line with the first. It's just cedar and cream. And then the final third really continues, and it's one of those items where you're irritated, but at the same time, you're just like, I really can't complain too much. It's not like it's going downhill. You're like, what am I complaining about? There's been plenty of times where we've gotten here and it's gotten bad. The ride's almost over. You're like, hey, so it was decent burn, really good draw. Actually, I think the burn I just gave average because there's something about Connecticut's where it's like if you burn bad on a Connecticut,
Mm.
you've really fucked up. Like if you burn really like perfectly, you should. It's like
Yeah.
that's kind of like Connecticut's how they've been spoken for 30 years. So that's just kind of average. That's just the way it's meant to be. So I put average, but like yes, most people be like, no, that was beautiful. Well, every Connecticut smokes, go smoke a Macanudo. So, John,
Yeah, it was clearly obviously Connecticut from the get go. Slightly bitter tobacco, wood, hay, sharp wood in the post straw, a little bit of chocolate in the center of the retrohale, and the bitterness kind of calmed down about a half inch in. Tobacco kind of let off the profile as it continued. Creamy tobacco in the retrohale, a little vegetal like a celery on the finish. Very mild lingering wood on the post draw by the halfway point. So, that checks every single box there is for Connecticut's. Second, third, creamy sweet wood, a little bit of dryness in the center, a little dry wood on the post draw. Again, that chocolate kind of rounding things out in the center of the retrohale. And then got a little medium minus baking spices and wood in the retrohale by the halfway point, but it wasn't there for a very long time. It was just sort of for a short period of time, just to, I guess, provide a bit of a change up. And then the bitterness kind of returned through the bottom half. Last third, medium minus strength spices started it off, dry wood, bitter hay. And then the dry hay kind of defined the post draw as it continued, mild chocolate, again, back on that retrohale. And then I would say that profile really became a medium strength, dry, bitter hay on the post draw, carrying into the profile. So, you know, that's Connecticut. Like that's what Connecticut is. It's not New Age. That's very much Connecticut. Interestingly enough, burn was perfect for me. You know, like that sort of razor Connecticut with a nice ash. But I had a very snug draw, 3.5, 4 notches into the resistance spectrum, so I had to work at it, which was unfortunate. But I'd say this pretty average overall for me. Aaron, what about you?
Yeah, for me, the cigar started with toasted cedar, black pepper, and some light burning paper. The burning paper transitioned to lightly creamy hay pretty quickly. Some earth joined a bit later, and then the final third saw the creamy hay depart. Construction was absolutely perfect for me. No complaints whatsoever. Kind of what Seth said. It's just that's the way they burn. I thought the cigar had a fun start with a slow introduction of the various flavors. Profile took a step down in the second third as the flavor profile wasn't as dynamic and was pretty linear the rest of the way. Nice introduction to a new brand. Cigar isn't really something I'd see myself coming back to, but it's interesting enough to make me want to, maybe check out the other lines and things like that. But yeah, I would say this is like picture perfect Connecticut broadleaf traditional style. The first sort I thought was kind of a step up from that, just because kind of slow rolled some of the flavors for me. But
You said Connecticut broadleaf, but you meant Connecticut
sorry,
shade.
Connecticut shade. Yeah, Connecticut shade. We've been banging on broadleaf.
Talking too much Connecticut. Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's if you are a huge fan of like the traditional Connecticut shade style, like that's where you're at. Like you don't like kind of the newer age Connecticut stuff like that. You try this cigar. Like this is right in line with that. So if you like that really traditional style, this would be right in your wheelhouse. And depending on price point's only $10, so it's not a big get for that. So you might find something that you like here. But there's some Connecticut shades that have been doing some like pretty cool things in the last 5 years or so. So that's kind of where I lean. But I wouldn't like if you're just hanging out with somebody and they handed you this, you'd smoke it. It's not really nothing to complain about. So yeah. All right, let's get to the scores. We're gonna start at the top with me at 6.1, and then John and Seth, they both give it a 5.3. My 6.1 matches up well. It was above average flavor profile, had perfect construction, so that's what gets it to the 6.1. But it's not, like I said, it's not something I'm going to come back to with any kind of frequency. I'd smoke it if somebody handed me one, but I'm probably not going to look for this Connecticut shade versus others. All right, John, 5.3.
Yeah, it should be at 5.5, but it's unfortunate that draw kind of held it back. So, like, for me, the draw thing aside, this is, if you're looking for a Connecticut, like a classic Connecticut, this would be a cigar you could pick up. It definitely checks all those boxes. But unfortunately, in the current market, that doesn't really make it stand out from, other Connecticut's and other cigars that are on the market. That's why it ranks as average. So yeah, score matches up well. Obviously the draw pulling it down a little bit.
All right, Seth, you're saying 5.3.
I mean, kind of what John said. It's like I wouldn't go out and seek it, but if like someone's like, "Hey, you want to smoke this? Like, this is what we're smoking." Yeah, I'd smoke it. And then someone's
Some
like,
coffee
"Hey,
in a Connecticut."
Yeah, I mean, but I'd probably take the band off. I'll be honest about it.
I'm not a fan of it.
I'd smoke it, but like, let's just take the band off. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not a fan of the band either, but it's like, there's nothing to showcase. You know what I mean? Like, at least, does that make sense? Like, if you're smoking, if we're smoking a $60 Connecticut Davidoff and that's what people are handing out, I'll keep that band on. Because it's like, yeah, we're smoking a $60, that's kind of what we're doing.
Boys.
That's just, hey, that's where we're at. It's, like, we're not like putting that away. But of course, if Davidoff did that, they probably wouldn't even have a band on it. Then you'd have to explain the whole thing. So, but yeah, with this, it's just like it's really just kind of about smoking to Connecticut. There's really not much else to it.
All right, wherever you catch this video, be sure to like and subscribe, but check out the full written review on the website, developmentpalace.com. Follow us on the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts. So iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.
1, 2, 3 Leaf.